are listening to the Jboy Show, your number one source for Auburn and the SEC.
My goal was to run through his soul and grab his heart when I run through his soul.
Kurt, Nate, Coach Dab. Those are memories.
I think we've established ourselves as, I think, the premier conference in college football.
Now, the SEC is better at the top. It's better in the middle.
The Southeastern Conference remains the premier conference.
Now takes the snap. Looking for the receiver. He's got Lutz and Kirkland. Touchdown, Auburn!
Think about it. It's always been the SEC and everybody else trying to catch it.
I think this is probably the best league from a competitive venue standpoint.
The most capable teams. You just look at those programs, the way they recruit, how they invest.
Snap to Burrow. 3 steps. Fires. Back corner of the end zone. Over the shoulder catch. Did he hold on? He did. Justin Jefferson. Touchdown, Tiger.
And now, your host, Jboy.
All right, we are joined on this special edition of the Jboy Show by a guy that's known by any Auburn fan that's worth the salt. Current assistant basketball coach at Auburn University, former player from 93 to 97, was all SEC his junior year, scored over 1,200 points, was the head coach at Little Rock, just a guy that did it all, I think finished with almost 600 assists, and that's Coach Wes Flanagan. Coach Flanagan, I really appreciate you taking some time.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the introduction, man. I hadn't got an introduction like that in a while.
Hey, man, it's something where, I remember, and I know a lot of Auburn fans do, and especially now that basketball, and I do want to ask you about this, basketball has become so huge at Auburn, and it was big when you played, but just being able to play then and be in that environment, and now coach in what I keep saying is the golden era of Auburn basketball, what has that been kind of like for you? It had to be kind of cool.
Man, it's been unbelievable, man. And obviously, when one door closes, another one opens. Mm-hmm. And I was blessed and fortunate, man, that, Coach Pearl thought enough of me, to bring me back to Auburn, a place where, obviously I put in a lot of time, a lot of hard work, almost I sacrificed my left arm, playing here. But it was so many people, man, that, stood up for me, man, to help me get through that moment. And, just to be out there, man, that first game and, hear that national anthem, man, and to see our fan base be as excited as they were about our program and our kids. It was an unbelievable feeling, man. It was a dream come true. To be able to come back here and give back, not only to, the athletes that's here, that's in our locker room, but to give back to the University of Auburn and also, man, to give back to the community. So I'm having a blast, man. We got a great staff, and better than our staff is those kids in our locker room, man, that work so hard for us.
Yeah, and I've talked, like I said in the pre-show, I've had Coach Pruitt on here, had Coach Pearl on here, had Marquise Daniels on, and we just talked about kind of, you can really tell the camaraderie that you guys have as a staff and that the players have and how important that is to the team. My question I want to ask you, Coach, as a guy that's recruited for as long as you have, now that Auburn is become prominent in the basketball landscape and is expected to not only make the tournament, but make a run in the tournament, and you guys are unbelievable recruiters. I know all you need is a foot in the door. You could probably show up with a McDonald's shirt on and sign somebody. But now that you guys have made a Final Four and people from coast to coast know who Auburn basketball is, it's had to have shown a little bit in recruiting when you guys walk in the door with that logo on.
Well, thanks to Coach Pearl, man, his staff, and, again, the players, man, just putting us in a position where, we can open a different door now. Yeah. And it's always been a situation here at Auburn where we could walk into, some of the McDonald's All-Americans households and, have a conversation, but that conversation is starting now. And so a lot of it, man, is based on, winning. And, when you start winning, man, you create this fan base, and our fan base is unbelievable. I feel like we got, the best home court atmosphere, man, in the SEC and one of the best in the country. And, people see that, it's a fun style that we play that Coach Pearl has created, and kids are watching, man. Kids are watching, parents are watching. We've been able to create this bubble and this unity of family that our guys have bought into. And a lot of that, man, is based on, the recruitment of certain type of kids, man. And, we keep the families close. Our families are part of our team. We don't push those families back. We urge them to continue to support their kids. They're here for practice. They're here for workouts. Some of them are even in our locker rooms. And so, family's been huge. Coach Pearl has kind of built this program on it. His son is on the staff. Obviously my son is now on the team. It's a father-son program, but more importantly than that, man, it's a program that believes, in the man next to him. Not one man is better or in a higher place than the other. And we fight for each other, man. And we don't have everything, lined up that's perfect all the time, but we believe in each other. We believe in what Coach Pearl is teaching and requiring us to do. And it's all working out for the better of all.
Yeah, and you can tell that it's genuine, and you can tell on the court and off the court. And you brought up your son, Alan, and it's, I'm a coach's son. I was never lucky enough to actually officially play for my father. I felt like I played for him for about 16 years. But being able to, not only coach at Auburn, but have your son play on the team at your alma mater while you're a coach on the staff. And he was really coming on at the end of last year. I keep saying I thought that Tennessee game was his best game. What's that like just for you, just because you're a coach, but you're also a dad. And that's got to be, I'm sure there's some times where you kind of want to jump out of your chair, whether it's excitement or upset or whatever. But how is that dynamic?
Man, it's kind of like a roller coaster, man. We both have emotions. Al has his emotions, I have mine. As a father, man, he's my firstborn, man. And so, when I laid eyes on him, there's things that always kind of go through your mind. And obviously, man, I had a great admiration for, what I did here at Auburn and the way that people had treated me. And so, it was one of the things that I, thought about as he was growing up, man. Maybe one day he'll get a chance to, play here at Auburn. I never realized that, we both be here at the same time. And, thanks to BP, we've been able to create that scenario and hopefully continue to fulfill a legacy, so to speak, here. But, it's some ups and downs, man. I want him to do so well a lot of times. And so that adds, a little anxiety and a little pressure to me that normally when he wasn't here, I wouldn't necessarily feel. But it's been great, man. I get a chance to, help develop my son, whereas, for 22 years in this business, I've been helping develop other people's kids. Now I'm here every day and I get a chance to, see my son every day. And that's something in this profession, man, that, you can't take for granted because we're on the road so much. We travel so much, we got games. And, to be honest with you, man, last year was the first time, probably in our lives where we saw each other and spent as much time as we did probably, his whole life. So it's been good, man. And hopefully he'll continue to get better. I'm trusting our staff, to help continue to develop Allen. I try to, as a coach, I try to stay away from him as much as possible. I was going to ask you that. Yeah, but I try to support him as a dad and be there for him, whether it's good or bad. The only thing I really coach now with him is his actions and his behavior. I don't necessarily talk to him too much about basketball necessarily. So, but it's been great, man.
Man, Coach, I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And I'm sure it is. There's sometimes, when he gets subbed out where I see him walking over the bench and kind of walk by you. And I just think that's such a cool thing. Just such a cool thing. But, Coach, I do want to talk, kind of getting back to you a little bit. You were the head coach at Little Rock in Arkansas, and then you come to Auburn. How much did that head coach, and I coached college for 9 years, and how much did that experience, just you being in charge of it, really help you for this stint now at Auburn and looking down the road in your coaching career?
Well, I think for me, it's probably been something, man, that's been, now I can kind of sit back. I'm the elder guy on the staff. Basically, I've been in this business longer than anybody else. And so I can kind of sit back, man, and kind of, listen, to some of the things that, Coach Pearl may bring to the table and, obviously offer my input. I think I'm a better listener now. Because of what I went through, for 2 years as a head coach. And, guys don't understand, and I didn't understand, how much different that is, moving over one seat. You always, hear that, guys talk about that out on the road in our profession, but there's nothing that can prepare you for that moment. You might think you're prepared, but you're not. And so, obviously, I think, man, I'm a great listener now, and I think because of that experience, I think, Coach Pearl, respects, some of the things I may bring to him.
Yeah, and again, it's something to where when you're the head coach, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people realize it's way more than just basketball. I mean, it may be basketball, like maybe the least. Of it. Yeah, basketball may be the least thing that you do. So, I remember our head coach at South sometimes used to be like, man, I'd love to just watch some film. I literally just love to sit down and watch some film and do a little coaching. But, Coach, that Final Four run, as magical as it was, is there one moment in one game, and I know there's probably 20 that come to mind, but is there one moment during that season, whether it be regular season, postseason, that really kind of sticks out, in your mind as maybe a turning point?
Well, I would say two of them. The Georgia game, we were on the road. I think we were about 500 in conference play, and kind of had our back against the wall, to be honest with you. I think we had just suffered maybe a tough loss at home to Ole Miss, and we're on the road against Georgia, another team that didn't have a great RPI, ranking, and so we knew that maybe if we lost another game like that, it may be detrimental to us, getting into the NCAA tournament. So we're 500. Georgia's playing well. And, at the end, we end up pulling that game out with Chuma, making a 3. And I think that was really Chuma's, statement that, now I'm ready. Now I've arrived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we knew going into the season that probably Chuma was our best player. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Jared and, Bryce were great players for us. But Chuma was the guy that we knew, man, if we could get him going, he could be the guy that could possibly get us, to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And so, that was a great game, great moment for him. But I think the second one was, obviously the Kansas game.
Yeah.
And, just the way we were playing for me individually as a coach, when I watched us, play the way we played against Kansas, that was the first time that I felt really, really good about us having an opportunity to get to the Final Four. And when we played North Carolina, I felt like there was no way we was losing to them.
Yeah, and again, you guys were playing on another level. And actually, quick, funny little story. When you guys played Kansas, I was coaching at Fort Scott Community College out there in Kansas, where Chris Beard actually coached there, the guy at Texas Tech. And I was watching that surrounded by Kansas fans. And, Auburn basketball to them, they're like, all right, you guys can shoot threes. And the whole time I was telling them, I was like, you guys don't understand. I was like, you guys have not seen what I have seen. And I just really didn't say anything. And at halftime, I was laughing. Oh, my God, I was laughing. When Bryce just started, anywhere in the corner it was going in, I was just laughing. Right. It was such a great experience. But Coach, now kind of coming full circle, and I want to talk about the SEC a little bit, because we talked about you playing in Auburn and how different it is now. When you look around the league and you see the investment that the Southeastern Conference has made in trying to become the best basketball conference in the country. And I think they're, marching toward that. I'm kind of in the minority there, but you go to these arenas, whether it be Bud Walton, whether it be up at Tennessee or anywhere you go, you don't have a day off. Can you just talk about how the schedule is now in the SEC and how much different it is to say, we made it out the SEC?
Well, I think first and foremost, that if you can get to 500 in our league, you're probably going to have an opportunity, to get to the NCAA tournament. They've kind of, made a commitment with our scheduling in the non-conference, which is different to, not schedule the low RPI teams. And so, even though, we schedule, a tough schedule in the non-conference, which is a lot better than what it was back when I played, even if we take a few losses and a few lumps, we still have an opportunity once we get into conference play. After your team has been established, to make a run. Anybody is capable in this league of getting in there and making a run and getting to the NCAA tournament. So, and it's been huge, man, number one, just to see, our athletic directors and our universities commit to basketball, but it's also been huge to have the SEC network now.
Yeah.
And, that network has put our league, on a different platform compared to other leagues. And, I really think that's been a big part of it. Now you see, in the recruiting battles where the SEC out of, the top, 15 recruiting classes, we may have 5 or 6 of them. And so the better players are coming here. That's been good, and the talent level is good. And then obviously the home court atmospheres are great. And so when you go on the road, you got to strap them on tight, and you got to be ready because anybody can pop you.
Yeah. And again, it's something where now, and you brought up the SEC Network, if you want to watch a game, there's no reason you can't find the game, whether it's SEC Network Plus and all that. It's just such a nice thing to have, especially for the fans. But Coach, kind of winding it down here, going into this next season, just assuming everything is normal, you guys had some big signees, obviously Sharif Cooper, JT Thor, Justin Powell, Chris Moore, you name them. Is there a guy, and again, I know, you can only say so much, is there a guy that you think Auburn fans may not know that much about now that you think is really going to take a big step this next season? I know I'm asking you to predict the future, but is there a guy that kind of sticks in your mind, or is there a couple, or is it just too early?
Well, as a dad, man, I like to say Alan Flanagan.
Yeah, exactly.
but no, I'm looking forward to seeing, the next phase for our sophomores. Some of those guys, were highly recruited. Tyrell Jones, Babatunde, Stretch, Jalen Williams. Some of these guys, man, were highly recruited guys. But like I said, man, the way we recruited, we've had guys that's bought in, to our program, whether they're playing or not. They believe in the guy next to them. They believe in our staff. And so those guys are kind of patiently waited. And, not that they wasn't good enough. We just had other guys in front of them that were better. And so it's going to be interesting to see how those guys, step into, the shoes of Samir Dowdy and Javon McCormick and some of those guys this year. But I think they're prepared. Obviously, it's going to be, kind of on our shoulders as a staff, to put, the right guys out there and put them in the right position to be successful. But we're talented. I think the thing that we'll miss, that we've had the last 2 or 3 years is just the level of experience. But the talent level is in there, and we got one of the best coaches in the country, and Coach Pearl, and I think we'll be able to get the job done as long as everybody stays healthy.
Yes, sir. And just a couple more, and I'll let you go. Speaking of Jalen Williams, have you? I thought it was the craziest thing. Have you ever seen a guy come in really in his first game and just say, "I'm gonna throw one off the backboard and dunk it"? Or did Coach Flanagan? Did you teach him that? Was that your move?
Well, that was one of those moments last year where he dunked that ball, man. I think the whole staff just kind of looked around at each other like, okay, we might have us a player.
Yeah.
But that was some of the things, man, and that was the reason why we recruited Jalen. He's a unique talent. There's a lot of things, man, that he can do with the basketball. And just like a lot of those other guys that were freshmen last year, Jalen didn't play at all, man, really to the, toward the end of the year after, Isaac got hurt. And, when he had the opportunity, he got out there and he made the most out of it. There were some other guys that just didn't simply quite get the opportunity. Babatunde is a guy that I really like, man, plays hard, has a great spirit about him, comes to work every day. But when you got Anthony McLemore and Austin Wiley, ahead of him, man, it's just only so many minutes where, we can play guys. So I'm excited about all of them, man. I love our freshman class from a talent standpoint. Again, it's just going to be a growing up and maturing process with our team. And hopefully we'll have some guys step up, man, just like Javon McCormick stepped up last year, Samir Dowdy stepped up, and, the rest of those seniors who, were basically role guys the year before.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see. I've had 4 or 5 people tell me that Stretch has a nice little jumper on him from deep. So I'm really interested to see that. Have a little trail 5 there at the top of the key. But Coach, I really appreciate you, man. I know you're a super busy guy, and you're a great representation of the university and Auburn basketball, and I really appreciate you coming on the show and telling us the truth and how it really is, man. And we'd love to have you back on, obviously, kind of as we get closer to the season, hopefully.
Well, anytime it works for you guys, I'm welcome. I'm ready to roll. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yes, sir, and hope to get you on again. And good luck out there, and be safe, Coach.
Hey, War Eagle.
All right, talk to you later. And that's Auburn assistant basketball coach Wes Flanagan Obviously a first-class guy, father Alan Flanagan on the team. I thought it was really cool, them talking about that relationship and just how it is when you're out there, because, they're both super competitive guys, and being able to watch your son go out there and play at one of the highest levels has got to be really cool. But again, appreciate you guys joining us. Remember, you can find us on Twitter at The Jboy Show, on Instagram at The Jboy Show. We're on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere. Again, you guys make this thing happen. Want to give a shout out to the best PR team in the biz. That's the Investor Brand Network. Again, Michael McCarthy, the CEO. Again, they're the best. If you need any PR, anything like that, you definitely need to hit them up at the investorbrand.network.com. Sorry. And always, Faison, my own personal Merlin, in the studio whipping it up. I got love for you, man. Keep it going. And you guys, please keep tuning in. We have, again, more huge announcements on the way. We're growing so fast. I don't want to over-announce you guys, but I want you to know what's going on. So, again, it's been another really good episode, in my opinion, of The Jboy Show. And Jboy is gone.